How you doing, YouTube family? Today is Monday, April 21st, 2025. Is your man Big D, and I'm back with another one. I want to thank all you good folk out there in YouTube land for continuing to show support to my son and I. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Well, family, this was a shocker when I heard this one. I'm afraid that Big Unc Shannon Sharpe might have some issues coming this way. Man, I tell you, you know, Big Unc, he always carried himself, in my opinion, from what I see of his online persona. He always looked to be a respectable dude, carried himself appropriately. And for Big Unc to fall prey, man, listen. But let's go ahead and dive in, family.
I want to read to you a story that TMZ has published today. Shannon Sharpe sued for $50 million over alleged rapes. This came out this morning. Shannon Sharpe has just been sued for allegedly raping a woman on multiple occasions, and the plaintiff in the case is asking for tens of millions in damages. The lawsuit obtained by TMZ Sports was filed by Jane Doe on Sunday in Nevada after she says Sharpe brutally sexually assaulted her several times at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025 following a years-long abusive relationship.
Ooh. Family, I can only hope that there is no validity to this right here. I can only hope that this is a money grab, and the same way that that one chick came out and tried to rope Jay-Z in on some stuff that allegedly happened at a P Diddy function. Man, listen, the same way that Jay-Z was able to walk away from that unscathed, I hope my man Shannon can do the same. Because this man worked his ass off to get to this point in time and place. And I just would hate to have see, the fruits of his labor just fall to the wayside. But at the same time, if Big Aunt did this, as he always say, you got to be held accountable.
According to the suit, Jane Doe met Sharpe in 2023 at a gym in Los Angeles when she was 20 years old and he was in his mid-50s. She stated in the docs during their first encounter, Sharpe told her he would buy her fake tits if she won a weight loss competition with him. She wrote in the suit that Sharpe proceeded to pursue her relentlessly, calling, texting, and demanding she come to his Beverly Glen mansion. The woman stated she and the former Denver Broncos tight end ultimately got into a consensual relationship, though she described it as controlling and verbally abusive.
Now, family, hold on. Do you really feel like Shannon Sharpe had to pursue this chick relentlessly? She make it seem like that Big Unc was just sweating the hell out of her, just begging. And I don't believe that. This man got his money on deck. He's in physical shape, you know what I'm saying? He's a specimen for his age. I don't think I don't think he had to sweat her. But of course, she is going to allege this to make the her lawsuit, that the words in her lawsuit, that more, stronger. You know what I'm saying? It just bolsters the claim.
Quote, he demanded complete control over her time and body, attorney Tony Busby wrote in Doe's lawsuit, expecting her to be at his house on his schedule at his command whenever he called. Doe claimed there was one argument in particular that terrified her when he yelled at her while a firearm was visible in the room. Quote, plaintiff tried sharing her location with friends from her iPhone just in case, the document states. But Sharpe saw her doing this. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, if you ever do that again, I will effing kill you. The two nevertheless continued the relationship, even following a move by both to Nevada during the summer of 2024. However, Doe states in her suit she attempted to break things off after his infamous Instagram live streaming incident, which she said led to him raping her. Doe claimed in her suit the first instance happened in October 2024 at her apartment. She said the 56-year-old Pro Football Hall of Famer forced himself on her while she was crying and sobbing. The second instance, the suit alleges, happened a few weeks later in January 25. Doe claims Sharpe came over to her house with promises of delivering a Christmas and birthday gift to her, but instead violently sexually assaulted her once more. She's suing for over $50 million. Quote, "It takes a great deal of courage to stand up against those with power, fame, and money," Busby said in a statement after filing a suit on Doe's behalf. "I look forward to pressing this case in court." Story ends. We've reached out to Sharpe for comment in the case, but so far, no word back. This is problematic. And yes, it's problematic. Like, hold on, they're in a consensual relationship. She's saying she's raped.
Listen, Jason Whitlock is right. This is very, very much so problematic for Big Unc. And I can only conclude just knowing, you know what I'm saying, just from what I see as far as our Big Unc's online persona, you know what I'm saying? I know he kind of into them snow bunnies. And that's probably what is going to make this it just don't look good for Shannon. It just don't. And if this a little white girl, them white folks are gonna press the issue. That's just what they do, especially when it comes down to us. And one of their women, you know, is allegedly mishandled. You know, you see what they done to the little Ike, the little Majors boy. You see what they done to him behind that white girl. He just he just started to make a comeback from that. It hampered his career to the point that he had to go and get him a sister.
This is very similar to what happened to Harvey Weinstein. The woman that he's in prison for, I think in New York or California, maybe it's California, they had a years-long consensual relationship that she claims involved a couple of instances of rape. And Harvey Weinstein's in prison. When they decide that they want to get you, they can come get you. And Shannon Sharpe's history, when you hear Tony Busby's name involved in this, Tony Busby is the lawyer out of Houston that was the leader of the Deshaun Watson massage therapist problem.
Exactly. That Tony Busby, anybody that got money, he all over. If one of them women come in and claim some type of allegation, in particularly against a man that has a lot of money, that's wealthy, has status, Tony Busby, he all over it. He all over it.
And so what ended up happening to Deshaun Watson was there was one massage therapist, there was two massage therapists, then there was three massage therapists. Then the next thing you know, there were 5, 6, 7, 25 massage therapists. And he couldn't get out from underneath that. And if anybody look up the history, if it hasn't all been buried and removed from Wikipedia, but look up the history on Shannon Sharpe and why he left CBS Sports when he was on the NFL Today Show or whatever it was called over at CBS Sports. There were a lot of allegations involving baby mamas, ex-girlfriends, and they walked away from Shannon Sharpe and ended that deal because he had issues with women. And this used to be on his Wikipedia page, and then it's mostly either completely disappeared or mostly disappeared because money can do that. They can smear you or clean you up on Wikipedia. I was alive at the time when this went on, and when Shannon Sharpe came to Fox Sports, obviously I was there. And I was like, wow, the guy just got ran out of CBS for all these allegations with women. How do you go all in on that in this Me Too era? So it was always baffling. And when you heard me back then, slightly complaining or letting off signals like, man, what's Shannon Sharpe doing with all this, racial that? Everybody's a racist, and he's putting on a do rag and pretending like he smokes blunts and he's drinking and all this whole ghetto stick. And I was like, oh, they got Shannon Sharpe by the little boys. He's compromised, and that's why he was hired. And so when you hear me on this show or when I'm on the Fearless show talking about like, hey man, they only promote and install people that they can completely control as it relates to black men. As it relates to black men on these sports shows and on these television networks, in order to get the big bag and the big opportunity, they have to have you compromised sexually or criminally in just some sort of way where you're so filled with gratitude that when an executive like a Jamie Horowitz, who was Shannon Sharpe's boss, says, hey man, we're going to have you play the role of a minstrel clown who comes on here and screams the race card, and you're going to be the Black Al Sharpton, even though Shannon, your history is you're not Malcolm X. You don't like Betty Shabazz. You like Becky Shabazz. And I was calling this stuff out in real time or back then, and people have said the things that I've said on Fearless were motivated out of jealousy, envy, and I just want to tear down a black man. And I'm like, no, y'all don't know what I know. And or you're not paying attention, or you have no discernment, you can't connect the dots, you can't see what I see. That this whole TV industry, this whole Diddy, Epstein, sexual compromise industry is at work here. And so I'm not sitting here, and who knows what the details are between Shannon Sharpe and this young woman, this 20-year-old woman. But if you didn't even have to have your ears to the ground, what is being talked about here in this lawsuit based on TMZ sounds similar to, things you may or may not have allegedly heard about, these athletes. A lot of times, particularly when they're not grounded spiritually, when they're not, leading with Jesus Christ, they have no sexual discipline. None. They haven't submitted.
Well, let me say this. I hear what he's saying on that, but hell, you got Christians that ain't got no sexual discipline, men and women, and not only don't have sexual discipline, it's other things and other categories that they could, that when you look at what the Bible says, that they're not living by. So yeah, sex might be one nuance, but we can point out a plethora of things. So I don't necessarily think that religion has anything to do with it. I think sometimes because according to what Shannon always says, how he was raised. I know he was raised with values. So sometimes, you can be raised with values, but money can compromise you. And maybe going to the NFL compromises a lot of men that they had one set of values, but then getting access to all this money and women and fame, they get compromised. It happens to the best of us.
And they end up having very little sexual discipline. And that's in all environments, whether it's work, whether it's play, whether it's at the gym, whether it's here, wherever. And I say this B- Because I've lived it and I've seen it with my own eyes. Years ago, I used to be an idiot athlete, and years ago, when I was on TV and famous and all that, I, I was stupid. I was an idiot. I wasn't this kind of an idiot though, because God blessed me with a level of discernment that my intellect doesn't warrant, and something God was always saying, Jason, I got bigger things for you to do. Don't get caught up in this money. Don't get caught up in. Uh, don't go too far with this, please. I'm begging you. I'm working on you with this eating thing. Don't let your small head get you in a bunch of trouble. I already got a problem with you and your eating. I don't need this other problem with you with your smaller head. And so there were just, again, I'm no saint, but there were just things I wouldn't do, and there are certainly things. Um, Anyway, I just understand and knew where this all could end up. And when you see someone like Tony Busby involved, what he's trying to do, what he's banking on, is this one Jane Doe is going to turn into 12 Jane Does. It was just announced that Shannon Sharpe was in pursuit of a $100 million contract, and he's made no secret of all the success he's had. And uh, he's got a bullseye on his back, and seems like there's at least one woman coming to collect. And based on how things ended for him at CBS, there may be more coming to collect. Like what you saw? Hit that like button.
Well, family, I'm going, why now? Why for these women to wait all this time, let all this time pass? When you look at the Bill Cosby thing, why now? Why wait till this man is this old to come at him, to come after him? So you just never know. But I do know this, man, you got to be careful. Even if you're not a Shannon Sharpe and you're not a Harvey Weinstein, where you are a millionaire, you got all this money and wealth. Listen, if you just a regular dude that's making six figures and you doing good for yourself, you too, my friend, better be careful and you better use a level of discernment when it comes to women, especially them snow bunnies. Yeah, they can be a lot of fun, but they can be a lot of problems too. They can bring a lot of legal problems. And I don't know if any of this is true. All we can do is wait, family. But I would just hope that this is a bunch of BS and this just ain't some thought trying to get paid, trying to make a come up of this man sweating hard work. But if there is a small chance that it is true what happened, well, Shannon, man, like you always say, you gotta be willing to deal with the consequences of your actions. Well, family, always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.